Hey guys, so Mitchell Bouchard here, and welcome to another installment of Red Cape Sports. Who do we got with us? Can you give a little
How's it going,
intro?
everyone? We got my name's Anthony. My YouTube channel is over at Milone Money Mindset. Appreciate you having me on, Mitch. Love the channel. Love what you and Bert are doing. Just pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, obviously, sports cards are booming. Um, you know, we've been producing tons of content, and I've noticed you, and then that's basically how we reached out. This is
Mhm.
basically our first time chatting, just to let everybody know as well. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started, specifically with investing and how it got into sports cards.
Yeah, so investing, I've always had a passion for investing. I started when I was like 18. I opened up like a small Robinhood account and kind of dabbled in it, a few extra bucks when I was probably working part time. I think at like a seafood restaurant in high school. And then I like interned my sophomore or freshman year of college. So then I started kind of investing there. And I was studying both accounting and business. So I continued to kind of want to learn as much as possible. And then, of course, as I kind of, got into the professional world, definitely started to invest a little bit more as I had a little bit more money on the side and kind of just learned a little bit more. And that's kind of the reason why I want to start my channel. So initially started with the focus on investing, but I always like thought I could have like kind of branched out a little bit. That's why I was in like Anthony's investing channel, stock channel. It was like Malone Money Mindset, kind of just my thoughts, whatever I was kind of thinking. And that's when back in probably April, I started kind of investing in sports cards. And I was kind of just thinking, like, can I actually start getting some content out? And then I went heavy on it. I think in May, it was like my first video, and I went full steam ahead because I just love doing the content. I also love doing the sports card investing.
So, from when you started to now, how long has it been since you started creating like the videos?
For sports, for the stock content started back in last September, so
Okay.
it took a little bit of time to kind of get a little bit of traction, and then I think the sports content started. My first video was like May of this year.
So, do you find that you're going to be doing more sports card stuff or like stock investing and mutual funds or
Yeah,
whatever
so
it
I
is?
think I kind of pinpoint what I kind of want to do. So right now, I actually run two separate live streams. So I initially started with the stock one because I was trying to really build up that watch time. And what that one is, it's my viewers come in, they'll submit a stock pick for the week. So it's kind of like a game between my community, and I track the best performing stock picks throughout the week. And at first, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. And then I looked at the results. I'm like, oh crap! Like some of these stocks are having 35, 40, 50% returns. I'm like, this could actually be kind of trendy. So I made one video off of like one of the best stocks that week. My friend Lily, she submitted, and I gave her a shout out and actually did pretty well. It got like 1,600, 2,000 views. So I'm like, okay, this could actually be a little bit of a nice segment. I do the live streams on Sundays. Then I have the rest of the week to kind of track it and then film a video that Friday, Saturday, whenever. And that's kind of what I've been doing with the stock ones. I was initially doing like portfolio updates and like how my stocks were doing, but those weren't really doing as well with like ranking and search. They were getting like a decent amount of hits. So these are doing a lot better. So it's kind of that stream. Then I post that on Friday, Saturday. And then Dustin at the Personal Finance Dad, he hit me up maybe like a month ago. He wanted to do a collab. So he's like, hey, do you want to do a live stream on your channel? Then I'll have you on my channel. So I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. So I did that with him. And then I'm like, I kind of enjoy doing this, talking, sports and everything with him. So then I had on Andy at the Fantasy Football Card Quest, and I've had I think one or two other ones. So I do that, and then I kind of talk about sports cards I've been buying, and now I do like box openings and that kind of stuff, like mail days too. So I think that's kind of this transition for the channel right now with those.
So, that's quite a bit going on. I'm kind of the same way. Like,
Yeah.
and when we started the sports card thing, I thought I was just gonna buy some Tim Hortons cards. So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys don't know, in Canada, I don't think Tim Hortons is doing it, but basically you go to like equivalent to like Dunkin' Donuts, and they have sports cards that are dedicated towards their brand. And a bird was, I swear, I was at Tim Hortons, and Bird's like, I'm like, hey, do you have any hockey cards on you? He's wearing this winter coat. He opens this coat and he pulls out like 80 cards from his pocket. I'm like, who walks around? Like he's like a walking card shop or
Yeah.
something. So, and then he was telling me like, oh, I've been selling on eBay for the past 4 or 5 years. I'm like, you're like cards are still hot right now. This was
Wow.
like a
Yeah.
couple years ago. and now we've just been producing like crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, show us kind of what you were showing me earlier. You picked up some hockey, or looks like
Yeah.
you had
So,
Crosby on the front.
yeah, this is what's top series 1, right? Upper
Dude.
deck. Really cool. I can't find any retail at Target, like legit. Pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I've seen these a couple of times, and then they go. I'm like, okay, let's pick it up. Especially I was doing your show today. I know you guys are big hockey fans, so
Yeah, man.
it's kind of funny. So my like my mom's side of the family, big hockey fans. I know you guys are Rangers fans, so I am a Rangers fan. I've been to a couple.
I'm not
games.
a Rangers fan. I'm a
Okay,
Toronto,
Bird.
Pittsburgh fan.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, if you want to open it up, you can whenever you
Yeah,
want, really. Like,
let's
we're
do
just
it.
trying to, yeah, might as well. So we're opening up some packs, guys. So we're going to have to roll in the pack time. This is cool. Have you ever opened up hockey?
I've never opened up hockey. I'm going to butcher the names.
Hockey pack virgin right here. Like, this is crazy, man.
So we're looking for what? Young Guns? Is that
what year is it?
It's 2019, 2020. So the most recent year.
I'm wondering if
cool.
Svechnikov's
You get this pack, right? These are like 3 rookies in there.
Yeah, you got the gloss there. Oh,
yeah.
Man, cool.
All right. I think
you're doing our first pack break on an
this is
interview.
cool, man.
This is
cool. Dude. I saw this. I'm like, I knew I would show you guys and maybe even open up on chat. I'm like, this is gonna be fun.
Dude, we can't get football. We cannot get football out here.
Yeah, I just opened. This is the one I just opened. This was like a 10-pack kind of variety. There was nothing too great in there. The best card I'll show you right now was like a high school. Where is it? Am I gonna not know where it is? I thought I brought it to the screen for you. Oh, here it is. A Joe Burrow. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. And they had
freaking love that.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, do you have any Joe Burrow cards?
I love
him because he smokes cigars. He's good. He's very talented.
He is good. Yeah. So I have that one, and then I don't know if you're familiar with Urban Card Breaks at all.
No.
He's a really cool chain. I've been following him for a while. Super laid back. He does breaks like every week, probably multiple times a week. And him and his daughter will rip cards together. I don't know how old. She's probably like 7 years old, but it's so fun seeing them interacting now, rip cards.
Funny.
And so he always has cards on display. And I saw he had I think it was a blaster, like a value pack of 2020 Donruss. I'm like, hey, what the hell? I'll take a shot on it. Dude, crazy pack. He hit me a rated rookie of him, Burrow, and he hit me a Justin Herbert card.
Man, Bird's bullish on Herbert, man. He looks
good.
Man, I need to get on more football. It's going to be my next move, but again, I can't buy everything. Like we're doing a Mike Tyson episode. You're going to know early.
I saw that.
So maybe we'll talk about him a little bit after too. So
we got a Ryan Strome.
Yeah, let's see. Here we go. So we're
Rangers.
looking for the young guns. So again, if you're specifically American,
Drew Doughty, he's a good player, right?
Drew Doughty, yeah, man, he's amazing.
Christian Fisher. We got a young gun.
What do we
I'm
got?
going to butcher this name, so I'm going to show you. He's on Dallas, so he's got to be good.
I'd probably butcher it too. Joel Lesperance.
Is he all right? Or
I think he's okay. I mean, they didn't win the cup, but
got it. Yeah.
Still a good young gun. We'll have to check it out. Actually, we'll look it up right now.
Nice.
This is cool.
We got a Jasper Fast for the Rangers. So a couple Rangers in there. Yeah. These are really nice. They're slick. Definitely.
Young guns are tough to get, man. Because basketball, we have Donruss, there's rated rookies, there's the Optic.
This is like their only one?
We have
kind of their main.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So hockey, you want to get young gun, very limited as well.
Is that why
less bronze?
Who's McDavid, right? His are like crazy expensive, right?
I had a McDavid. I sold it for about $850.
Nice.
And he's 23 years old, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so that young gun's kind of cheap.
Okay.
But
we got a Connor McDavid portrait. It's kind of cool.
Let's see. Well, that's a good card. It's a nice card.
That's a nice one.
I would keep that. I would hold on to that.
Yeah.
Connor, I mean,
he's a stud, right?
Connor McJesus, right? So, I mean,
this is cool. These are nice, though. They're really nice looking cards.
Yeah, that card's worth about $1. That Joel.
Let's hopefully get some more young guns.
Still a cool card. Still a
definitely.
Very cool card.
Okay.
Man, I should have
Martin
bought some packs.
Martin Jones,
Nice.
Bobby Ryan. I'm just going with the guys I can actually pronounce.
Hey, good hockey player.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
hockey player. Yep.
What team is this? This is the Senders. Okay.
You're gonna have to post them to Red Cape Sports on
Definitely.
our Facebook group too. This will be cool. We'll do some foreshadowing.
Okay, let's see.
We need some young guns, guys. Come on.
Yeah. So we're looking. We got a canvas.
What do we
Roman
got?
Josie.
Not too familiar with him.
We got the guy on the cover. Can't go wrong with the Crosby.
Oh, we
He's
got
hurt,
some
right?
Crosby.
Is he injured?
Crosby's-
He was injured.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Crosby. I like guys that fight, like Ovechkin.
Got
So,
it. I know
call him
Keith Yandel. I
Crybaby.
know his name. He sounds
Yep.
familiar. Keith Yandel. Is he's a top player?
He's a good player. I wouldn't say he's like a top guy. I wouldn't invest into him personally.
Got it.
I like Matthews.
Okay.
He's a guy I'm buying.
What team is
Obviously,
he on?
He's on the Maple Leafs.
Okay.
Very good talent. Nikolaj Ehlers, really good player.
Cam
Very
Fowler.
affordable. Fowler, great player.
Oh, nice.
But the young guns, we need the young
Yeah, we need
guns.
some young guys. Come on, baby.
I don't know if you saw our last hockey pack time, but
With
I
the
didn't
young
pull
guns
much.
and Frank and everything.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that was, I think, the first one I saw that Frank actually has a store. That's so cool.
Frank's got a really cool store. So
Yeah.
if you guys are ever in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, head over to FNC House of Cards. Frank will hook you up. He's got tons of Pokemon too.
Bushnevich, Pavel.
Okay, I would butcher that name. So, but the first overall draft pick, Alexei Lafreniere, who's going to be an incredible prospect. Guys,
Mhm.
please don't buy all of his cards. I want one young gun at least.
I know
Rangers are
TJ
gonna be hot
Oshie.
next year. Oshie's
I
a
know
freak.
him.
Oshie is a freak.
Then we got 3 more, and then we got that rookie one. So let's aim for one more young gun. I think it's 1 out of 4
Okay.
for packs. So maybe I think we'll get 2 for lucky. We got another one. Familiar with that guy at all?
Brandon Gignac. Yeah.
That's a good one, or better than the
I
first
think
one?
he's okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna look it up though.
we got 2 more.
I've heard of his name. Yeah, he's worth like $1 right now.
Okay,
One was sold for $1 today, plus $1.50 shipping. But these are young guns, right? Like,
yeah, they can go up in value as they.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a
Like-
third one.
Like I pulled the Svechnikov from a pack a while ago. I didn't even know who he was.
How we doing
Mario
here?
Ferrero. Man, I don't know these guys.
Uh-oh.
I know people are gonna think I'm a phony or something. I am. That's why Bird's the host.
But you don't know them, but they're $1. That it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, like I know the '90s guys. Like again, that card's like $1.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get another one. Ooh, we got a Young Guns canvas. That's a nice
UD
looking
canvas. Is that
card. Who is
Carl
this?
Grunstrom?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good name?
Yep. Yeah, it's a good player. I mean, I wouldn't say. I have to look up who we're trying to hit.
Yeah.
For that year,
Isn't
there's
there-
so many players. Like that's the thing about sports cards too. Is like I know Bird's a freak with names and all that,
Mhm.
but like now I know like the top names, but I don't know everybody. Like I'm not a computer. Like do you ever find that too? Even with football, like there's that Justin Herbert guy. There's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
I
remember.
got something for you. You'll crack up. So one of my best friends, he is like a computer when it comes to jersey numbers. You can't stump the kid. Any
Oh, man.
sport. He knows like almost every jersey number. It's crazy.
I used to. Maybe it's because I've
Oh, I think this is the guy.
who
Quinn.
you got?
Quinn Hughes. Is that's
You
a
got
hit
Quinn
guy.
Hughes?
Yeah.
but
From this
Not a-
pack.
nice.
Oh, it's not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
young guy. Or it's
Yeah, Quinn Hughes is a big name.
we got 2 Quinn Hughes. So we got, I guess, like a bronze Quinn Hughes.
Now, hold it up a bit more. There we go. Nice.
And then we
Quinn
got
Hughes, glossy.
a base Quinn Hughes.
Wow.
And then we got Philip. I'm not even gonna go for it. This guy.
Oh, it's Zadina. Philip
Is
Zadina.
he's a good one? I think he's a good one, right? The name
Yeah, he's
sounds
a good card.
familiar.
He's a good card. I mean, again, you
Nice
want the young guns. Like Quinn
for
Hughes,
them.
young
Yeah,
gun, does
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, I mean, let's see how those guys perform the next couple years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't even think of the names of the other guys you already pulled, but
Yeah. Grunstrom, the
yeah, I
canvas
mean,
one.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Quinn Hughes is one of the top guys to get out of that year.
Yeah,
Again, like even with young guns, there's the young guns 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, now 2020 coming out.
yeah.
And then there's how many names inside that, right? So,
Mm-hmm. And
but
then
you
there's
get a nice
series
hit.
one and series two. There's like different players in
Yeah,
those as well.
yeah, man. Like you don't know when like you gotta like pay attention to who's being drafted and.
Mm-hmm.
But football's a hot year, right? Because of Burrow.
Yeah, football's a good year. You got a lot of good wide receivers too, like CeeDee Lamb, who's balling out for the Cowboys. Jerry Judy, Jefferson's looking good right now for Minnesota. Those are kind of like the elite guys.
Who would
Um,
you put on the top three list for football for 2020 if you're
for
gonna
rookies,
invest to give a shot?
prob I would go Herbert and Burrow, and then I probably potentially do CeeDee Lamb, just because he's a Cowboy and he just looks really good.
Yeah. So, what do you like specifically about him? I'm a little more familiar with Burrow, obviously, and Herbert. They're the QBs, but so Lamb.
Yeah, he's just been balling out. Cowboys have a nice following. Him and Dak. I mean, Dak's going to get a massive contract at some
Yeah.
point. He's just balling out, regardless of their record. The defense is just not holding up. I mean, they're letting up crazy points. They gave up 49 points against the Browns last week. Like, who's going to win that game when you give up 49
Jeez.
points? It's just not going to happen. Like, even I think Dak threw for 500 yards that game, and they still lose.
Well,
So.
even Burrow, because like I was a huge fan of him coming up. I'm like, I'll try to get in football a little bit,
Mm,
and the kickers were missing so many kicks the first couple of weeks, right?
yeah.
Like, didn't they missed more kicks in 1 week than they did all of 10 or 12 weeks the year before,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Why is that? Just the whole COVID thing, or
It could be. Yeah. Just maybe Russ. And injuries, another thing. There's been so many injuries in football. Like, you got some of the top guys in the game going down. Like, Barkley went down in week 2. Joey Bosa went down. McCaffrey got banged up. He's coming back week 6. Like, those are like two of the best running backs, probably arguably one of the best defensive ends in the game. Jimmy G went down. The guy was in the Super Bowl for San
Garoppolo?
Fran. It's just a lot. Yeah. A lot of injuries going on.
Yeah, is that because guys are just like bigger, stronger, faster than ever? It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting. So, so that's going to be your top three, though. Eh? Anybody else that's kind of perspective that you like in football?
Jordan Love could be a nice long-term play just because he's on the Packers,
Hmm.
and his value is probably pretty low, knowing that he might not play for another 3 or 4 years. But I don't follow college enough to know like his talent, but I know he was taken in the first round. That's saying a lot if you're drafting as the Packers when you already have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, to take a guy in the first round is pretty heavy. I mean, they could have got a clear, wide receiver stud, and they took a guy like that. So I think they have a lot of promise for him. But Aaron Rodgers is not that old. I think he might be 37, 38. So that gives him potentially another 3 or so years left. So who knows when Jordan Love actually gets his opportunity. But it could be just like a value standpoint, and you get a guy like that. You maybe get like an RPA for a decent price, and then he comes up and he's playing for the Packers. He's doing well. That could be a really nice return on a guy like that. And then maybe some like the rookie running backs or wide receivers. Some of them are showing a lot of promise, especially a guy like Jefferson. I think he's blown up. He's had like 175 in one game. Like he's a guy that has a lot of potential. But the thing of like, I typically do go for guys who are in bigger markets and more so like that fan base. So like a guy on Minnesota doesn't really get me too excited opposed to like a guy in the Packers, a guy in the Cowboys, a guy in the Giants, Eagles
Yeah.
with a big following, big city market. So that's probably I'd be more torn to like a guy like Jordan Love playing for the Packers, like a really big football city.
So if you're gonna give if you want to, what would be your NFL prediction? Who do you think has the best chance of going the distance? Like, can anybody beat Mahomes?
I don't think so. They the way they played against Baltimore, they just were outmatched. Like they weren't even in that game. I mean, Lamar Jackson was not playing like himself, and they just took care of them on defense. Mahomes does whatever he wants right now on offense. I'm a big Yankees fan, so I was mainly watching the
Okay.
Yankees game on Monday, but we were kind of flipping back and forth, and we saw it was like 6-3 KC over the Patriots. I'm like, okay, like that's, the Patriots have a good defense. And you turn the game on 20 minutes later, and it's 26 to whatever. It's like that's all it takes, a snap of the finger, and that team just turns it on. And when they were playing Houston in the divisional round last year, I was actually at the gym with my buddy. They're losing 21-0. And at that point, like, I'm getting ready, we're leaving. I'm like 20 or 15 minutes away from the gym to my house. I get back, I turn the game. I'm like, what the hell? It's 24-21. Like, that's just the offense itself. And Mahomes, he's never out of a game. They can do it like at the snap of the finger and just score. And the defense is pretty good. And now they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire running the ball. So they're multi-dynamic with the offensive, the passing, and the rushing attack.
Yeah, like you don't know. I remember the Super Bowl with Brady. They were down by like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even that long ago. I can't even think of which Super Bowl it was.
Probably
It was
against
like,
Atlanta.
yeah, it was there. Yes, it was Atlanta. I
Yeah.
remember I was watching it on a stream when I was because I lived in the States for a while,
Mm.
and I'm like, this game's over. They came back. I'm like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
never know what will
crazy.
happen in sports, right? Like,
Yeah. Especially a guy
predict.
like Brady or Mahomes, like you can't count them out. They have a next level that other players can't even get to.
So, do you think Brady is going to um, kind of hit his mark this year? Do you think he'll be able to perform and maybe have a chance to make it to a postseason, or what?
The way I watched a lot of this week's game because that was actually the local game at noon or 1 o'clock
Okay.
because the Giants played at 4, and that was actually Justin Herbert for the Chargers against them. Phenomenal game, one of the better games I've watched this year. Herbert looked great out of the gun. They were just taking care of business against Tampa, and then Brady turned it on, and then it was no looking back at that point. Throwing deep passes. I mean, he looked like vintage Tom Brady. And with their weapons, having Mike Evans, they got that guy Scotty Miller. Godwin, I believe, is hurt, but if he gets back and healthy, that's another weapon to have. I think he was the leading receiver last year. So that trio right there, good run game, good defense. They're scary, but I think there's a lot of teams in the NFC. Mainly, not a lot. If I say a lot, I would say them, Packers, and Seattle. And I would probably put Seattle ahead of those two, just because of Russell Wilson, the way he's playing, it's just next level, and the way they're coached, the experience.
Yeah.
So I would put Seattle as number one, but I think Tampa and Tom Brady has a good enough shot as anyone in the NFC.
So, out of I guess some of that information, any cards or players that maybe even veterans that you're like, hey, maybe they're underappreciated, maybe they need some more attention. Anybody
Yeah,
that you could
so
see?
Mike Evans was one that I targeted. I did flip one of his cards for a decent value. One, I do really like Mike Evans. He actually, I don't want to like get into it, but he put out a 30 for 30. I recommend you watching. Really, really a heartfelt 30 for 30. Like he had a really tough childhood and everything.
Yeah.
So I was always a fan of his, and the talent was there. And I just thought the pairing with Brady would bring a lot more buzz and attention to his sports cards. So he was one guy that I did invest in and did get a flip in. I think Scotty Miller, I've heard some people talk about him. I think he's probably getting a little bit of a boost now because Brady definitely loves throwing to like those slot receivers. And I think it's starting to show their connection. If he starts to make him maybe one of his more go-to targets that could definitely cause a little bit of value for him, because he's a guy that no one really knew his name going into this season. Maybe if you're a fan of that team or you really follow football, but I wasn't too familiar with him. And most people know who Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are, so that kind of maybe created some value for a guy like Scotty Miller.
Okay, so you've been planning this for a while, eh? Like football, you've been pretty up to date with it for the past couple of years, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
definitely.
Because Brady is obviously a big time name, but he was one guy when I was thinking about it. I remember him for probably the last 5-10 years, just like he's a good football quarterback. In long term, I see him being a good medium to long term kind of guy too, right? Like, would you say that he's top 5 at least?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like even now,
definitely.
even though he's not retired yet,
Oh, in the league right now, he's probably right on the outside, but
Yeah.
he's close. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because he is a
But
little bit
even
older.
he's at age 43, like for him to be in the top 10 is incredible,
Yeah, especially when you have guys like Mahomes are making like billions of
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah,
Like
Mahomes.
literally, right? Like
Yeah.
how much money is he making? That guy?
Mahomes got, I think, 500 million or
Oh my God.
450 million or
Minus
so.
tax, but still, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, but he does those no look passes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
talent wise and just his brand ability, like he's such a likable guy, and it just the whole dynamic of him is it's just a match made in heaven for that team. They're gonna win multiple Super Bowls, which is gonna drive a crap ton of revenue for playoff sales, all that jazz. So they'll
well,
get their return on his investment.
well, it's kind of funny because like Bird was telling me, I remember we were watching the Super Bowl and I was looking at the screen and I'm like, Bird, weren't you telling me about this Mahomes guy and this Jimmy guy? Like
Mm-hmm.
this guy, and he's like, yeah, I told you to buy their rookie cards. And
Uh,
then I really made a mistake there. At least I bought Luca when
mm-hmm.
he told me to, but I didn't buy enough. I don't even own
Yeah,
any. I sold too early on Luca, but I did okay on the Zion thing. So
nice.
yeah, and then he's still a guy I think that people are still wrong about. I'm telling you, I think Zion, especially now, as prices have gone down, he's gonna be the things that he does, right? Making highlight
Yeah.
reel plays, being in basketball. If you can get some of his prisms and stuff, they're gonna go up. If
Oh, for sure. He's
like he's
someone
20,
after the
he's 22.
drop in prices. I did pick up and flipped one of his cards. But my strategy is definitely to get into basketball soon. I just have a good amount of inventory of baseball right now. So I'm trying to
Okay.
hopefully unload, and then I'll look to get on into the basketball.
So baseball, who are some guys that you like? I'll start off. I kind of saw this coming because I started actually watching and researching a lot more, like
Mhm.
specifically this year, 2020.
Yeah.
And baseball is one sport that I did play in the States. I was a pitcher,
Oh,
but
cool.
watching Fernando Tatis, I've never seen a shortstop like that. Like, guys, it's no joke. When you throw 94 miles an hour, that's harder than all of the pitchers I played with or against. Like, 90 miles an hour is ridiculous. 94 is stupid. And if you're an MLB pitcher throwing 100, it's unbelievable. Like, you can't teach people how to do that.
Yeah.
Tatis can run, he can throw, he can
Yeah.
field.
He's got all the tools. He's a
I
stud. He's got the energy. He's fun to watch.
I like Tatis, man, like a lot.
Yeah.
I like him more than Acuna. I think he's a
Hmm.
better player than Acuna all around. Bird's gonna
Yeah.
hate me. I don't even care. I think Tatis. I don't. I think Tatis can do what Acuna can do. I don't think Acuna can do what Tatis can do. And I understand they play different positions, but
Yeah.
Tatis, man, I love his rookies right now.
Yeah.
What do you think this year?
No, he's so going into the start of the baseball season. I'll kind of list up some guys I was buying. So Tatis, I did buy one of his cards. I sold it for a profit, probably as up a little bit more than when I sold it. I was going in on Garrett Cole because I'm a Yankees fan, but I'll kind of save the Yankees for a little bit later because I went into Jacob deGrom. Probably
Yeah.
maybe the 3 time in a row Cy Young, but already the 2 times, so I was able to profit on him. I got into Bryce Harper.
Harper.
Trying to think. Yeah, I profited on him. And then the guys I'm loading up on now because I'm believing the Dodgers are pretty much a shoe in. So I went heavy on Bellinger, and I picked up some Walker Bueller as well. I think I had some really good prices. And then from the Yankee standpoint, Judge, Torres, and Cole. I've been going on. So right now the Yankee series is 1-1. They looked yesterday. They went with the start opener with Devi Garcia, who
Mhm.
looked all right. He let up a home run to Randy Evergeria, whatever that guy's name is. But I mean, J Hab was atrocious. I don't know why they even put him in there. But right now it's 1-1. They're playing tonight. So if it goes down 1-2, I don't know what I'm gonna possibly do with those cards. But we'll have to
So it's
see.
best of 5 right now, right?
Yep. Yep.
And was the first round best of 3?
Yep.
So that's amazing to me because the Padres were almost out and now they're down. I'm looking at the stats right now. So who do you got for the World Series? I know we're a little far away, but if you were to pick somebody, do you want to give a prediction?
Yeah, I was definitely Dodgers, and I'm gonna stick with my Yankees. I
Yeah.
gotta rock with
Okay.
them.
Yeah, they got some
How
good
about
pitching
you?
too. I believe I had the Dodgers in the White Sox,
Okay.
but I don't know how likely that will be. In the Dodgers, they just out hit the Padres last game, so
hmm
I checked that out. I mean, if you can't hit, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah,
You need both to work. I mean,
definitely.
Dodgers just hit the heck out of the ball,
They do, and their pitching's great too with Bueller and Kershaw. That's a
dude.
nice one too. I'm not sure if they're rolling out
Bellinger,
May
you're
already.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
hmm
come on, man! Like his power, unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what teams can do. Even with good pitching, it's going to be tough. So,
Yeah.
so let's get into. I wanted to talk a little bit about the investing side of stuff. So, not just sports cards, but what is kind of an advice that you have for younger investors? So, if you're getting into sports cards or investing, what is something that you would tell somebody like, hey, maybe try this, maybe um, what's a good way for people to get started with investing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think just trying to learn as much as possible before going in is a great way to start. Whether that be for the investing side, I did a lot of using like Investopedia. So they have simulations you could get, I think maybe like 10 or $100,000 and just trade. So I think it's a great way to start for say a month.
Yeah.
Just see how you're going to do instead of going out and putting $500 into the market. You could put that 500 fake money and see how that money would have actually performed and say, okay, why is this going up? Like, or why is this going down? Instead of actually going out there and necessarily losing 15 or 20% in the course of the month, and then kind of evaluate, okay, what went wrong, what went right, and say, yeah, it did go right. Like, okay, I might have made some extra money if I actually put this into real stocks. But I think just to start, I think it's a great way to kind of just learn before you kind of, walk before you run in a way. And I do a lot of research. I'm always on Yahoo Finance, looking at what's current and what's going on in the markets. And I did study accounting, so I have a good understanding of like financial statements. But just like going on YouTube and just trying to learn about all that stuff could really help as well. And before you really start to dive into investing, definitely patience. Once you start, I would definitely try to stick with the strategy. Say, hey, I'm going to invest $15 each week or $20 each week or $50 a month, and kind of stick with that and kind of just see why are you doing this, or is this manageable? Can I go up? Should I be going down? And just having a game plan before you really get into it.
I like that too because, frick, I was talking to some of my buddies about it, and I'm like, "What's your list of investments in sports cards?" And most people don't have that. I didn't even have one, and I think making a list is really
hmm
important because then when something comes up, you just do impulse buys. You have
Yeah,
like FOMO's real, man. Like
it
fear
is.
missing out, especially when what was it like? Bull had a big game. Like I wanted to buy
Yeah.
his cards. I'm like, but you got to be smart. You have to be strategic. For me, what I
Yep.
do is I try to do like I'm more high risk, but it's also a calculated risk, right? So like when I'm investing into Tatis, like well, I was buying him at like $10 with
Yeah.
Bird. So like for me, it just made sense, right? Like if he's even going to be a mediocre player, he'll go up in my opinion. And plus the
Hmm.
market went up, so I've been lucky. But the way I look at it is I do 50% safer, like LeBron James.
Yeah.
I'll actually get like better Canadian stocks and stuff, but then also put 50% into high risk. But my
Yeah.
high risk, what I'll do is I'll make a list of like 30 players, and then I will keep shrinking it down, because the best way to do it is to swing at the best pitches, right? If you're
Hmm.
swinging at bad players all the time, you're
Yeah.
going to
You're
have
gonna
bad
miss. Yep.
hits. You're going to pop
Definitely.
out. But
Yep.
if you can swing at Acuna last year or by Luca 2 years ago,
Yeah.
you're going to win. So
Definitely.
that's the way I look at it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, yeah, I like that. Mixing in, the surefire guys with that the high risk, and then having that high, a certain amount of guys you would target, and then minimizing that to who you think is even more secure in that pool of players.
yeah. So how about for stocks? Let's get into that for like
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least 5 minutes.
definitely.
So for me, I'll give like a quick background of me in stocks. I
Okay,
hardly do any. Um, I was buying silver at $15, got out at 20, and then put it
nice,
all into sports cards. And
very
it's the
cool.
best thing I've ever done. Silver's obviously been doing good, but
Yeah.
cards have been like 4 or 5xing. So,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on marijuana stocks in the States specifically? Because here, if you were doing marijuana stocks 4 or 5 years ago, you could have done well, depending
Yeah,
on whatever. But now I find people are just throwing money into that stuff and they just get hurt
yeah. So
because there's
before I
so
get into
many
that,
bad companies.
definitely. Before I get into that, I know you mentioned silver, so I am also a silver fan.
Oh, what do you got? So you got an ounce.
This,
That's an ounce. Is that like a
yeah,
Lion
this is
King?
a second edition Lion King.
It
Yeah.
is. You were a Lion
Yep.
King fan? I grew up as a Lion King fan,
Yep.
man.
Def big
93.
time.
Oh my God.
So
That's awesome. Acuna
with
Matata, dude.
yeah, with silver, I always like to pick up like the collectible ones. So these are kind of
Totally.
limited vintage. And I did sell out a good amount when silver went up as well. And I've just recently bought a couple of these coins back.
So
So
I mean, I don't want to get into it too much because we're sports
yeah.
card related, but for a lot of people that don't know, um, the longest lasting currency is what, been gold and silver.
Mhm.
You can divide it. It's lightweight. It's valuable. It's very rare. So because currency, people look at money like here's our money. It's plastic now, but
Yeah.
you never get taught about money, right? Like here's
Hmm.
$10, but guys, this $10 ain't gonna be worth anything if I hold on to it for 50 years, unless I
But yeah, the
invested
silver,
into
yeah.
a card that can appreciate, or silver.
Hmm.
Because obviously silver is good because it's used, it's conductible,
Yep.
it's all that stuff. So
Did you get a crack at the amount of
it's
backlash I'll
funny.
get sometimes from my like finance community on silver because I like silver. It's like, dude, you guys are crazy. I still made money on them, so give me a break. Like, I like silver. I think it's cool to collect, but
I think it's being manipulated. I mean, this is going to be a whole other conversation, but I mean, guys, look into how money's made, and you'll find out. You'll be very disappointed on how it's just made out of thin air, and then it's given to the banks, and then people loan it out. Like, that's why I like sports cards, man. I
yeah.
mean, you're not going to make money holding on to currency. You're just going to
Hmm.
lose money. So,
Exactly.
I
Now
mean,
to answer your question about the marijuana industry, I actually have one stock that I do invest in that's done very well. If you want to check out the ticker symbol, it's IIPR. It's actually a REIT. I think they're based out of the West Coast,
the
probably predominantly.
marijuana REIT?
Yeah, real
What
dude,
the
things
heck?
done very well. So they own and operate the farms or whatever where they grow, and really cool concept. Pretty safe when it comes to that side of it, with also the growth that's going to come with that industry. So they've done very well. They also pay a dividend. I think I'm up maybe 80 or so% on that one.
That's big for a stock.
Yeah. So that's one I do invest a little bit in Aurora too, just because it's so low. So
Okay.
I'll take the risk on it at this point.
Yeah, I knew some people or even family related, they did. Like we have some pretty, like in Canada, it's pretty much illegal. Depending
Mhm.
on how much you have. I don't really mess around with drugs or alcohol, so actually don't even know how much you can even have on you. But in the
Mhm.
States, it's a thing that is still very frowned upon compared to even Canada, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
how much do the elections play a role in stocks for that stuff.
For that industry, a good
Yeah,
amount. Yeah,
like Biden versus Trump. Like I'm
definitely
pretty sure
big swing.
Trump's more not Trump is not lenient for that. But I know
No,
like is Biden more lenient for
yeah,
marijuana?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That could be huge, right? So
Hmm.
any stocks that you like for the election? Any election stock predictions?
Well, definitely. If you talk about that side of it, with solar as well, anything EV related, solar energy is
Yeah.
big for that side.
Okay. Yeah, I did see some videos on that too, and it makes sense. So guys, you got to think wind and solar. What about Tesla? Is Tesla overvalued? I understand the nature of it,
Hmm.
but again, I think they had their split, so there's so many more shares issued. What's
Yeah.
going on with Tesla? Do you like it as an investment?
I do own a small portion of it. So I use like an M1 Finance portfolio where you can get fractional shares and kind of set up like an allocation between however many stocks you want to invest in. So I started this account, I think maybe a year and a half ago. And the whole intention was to build up a share and position into Amazon and Google. So I initially started at 40% of each. And then the remaining 20%, I think, was to 10 remaining stocks. And then as that position built up pretty decent, I decided to reduce those. So I think 10% each. And then I added, I believe, another maybe 10 or so stocks in there. So I did add Tesla into that, like a 4 or 2% allocation. So I think I have like $300 or so into Tesla. So I do, it's like a very small position, but I do like to get a little exposure to it. But from a pure valuation standpoint, it has to be overvalued just based on their price to revenue is like 15, which is like crazy
Hmm.
high. I think Apple and Amazon are like 10 or so. And their annual revenue, I on the top of my head, I think it's 27 or so, 27 billion. I don't even know. I'm trying to think exactly, but I know Walmart per se is like hundreds of billions,
Yeah.
and they exceeded Walmart in market cap. Granted, Walmart does not have the growth potential that Tesla has, but on a
Yeah.
cash flow consistency basis, like to be valued more than Walmart is pretty mind blowing in my mind.
So, like, I understand more of like the long term approach for Tesla too, but like,
Yeah,
even for like, if you're gonna pick it up in thinking it's like still you're gonna get a lot of growth out of it, like, how much potential do you think? Like, how much percent more do you think? Like, it's gonna grow, like, like
yeah,
just for like its growth ability, because I mean, unless they
that's
produce every electric car, right? Like that could be
exactly.
like
Yeah.
if they're the best of the best, but there's still other companies. So
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
China's
Especially like in
involved.
China,
Like,
Neo in China market and
oh,
other companies are
Neo.
coming up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
true.
from yeah, like you said, like how much growth is left? It's like it's kind of crazy because I think there could be even downside to how overvalued this could potentially be. But I mean, on the price to earnings and all those ratios, it's just like they got to really outperform everything to get some really strong increases over the next few years. And it might be one of those FOMO stocks right now, like is everyone just like kind of missed the boat a little bit back when this thing shot up from like
Yeah.
200 all the way up to like with 12, 1300 before it had split. But I think it is a phenomenal company. Management, of course, with Elon Musk is great.
I wouldn't
But
bet
I think
against the guy.
that's the
Like,
one thing. Yeah. Yeah.
correct.
But it's hard to say like what is going to be that growth potential. And I think you could potentially do better with other positions with for that exponential growth.
Okay. One thing I was going to ask too. So here in Canada, and I don't think people talk about it enough. Just in terms like when people hear about investing, they'll buy stocks and they don't even know why they're buying it. They don't know what they're getting. It's very emotional based.
Mm-hmm.
Prices, they correct. Like there's so much emotion. It is emotion, right? Like people
Yeah.
buy with emotion, justify with logic. For the most part, think of anything you really buy: the car, the shirt you love, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I was going to ask about is in Canada, we have like a TFSA, which is like a Roth IRA in
Okay.
comparison to your like to the States, right? So we can put like up to 5,000 every year tax
Mm-hmm.
free. And if it
Yep.
grows, we don't pay the capital tax on it.
Yep.
What if you're in the US, what would you advise people to do like what kind of account should they do and how should they get started? Because a lot of people don't know. And if you're doing sports cards too, maybe start thinking about this, because when you're 60, you're going to have the opportunity to have some compound interest. And that's why I wanted to bring you on too. So
Yeah. So, yeah, I think a Roth IRA is an excellent way to do it. That, putting in money and letting it grow tax free. So Fidelity is an excellent account to look for, to open up. Very easy to use. They give you all the tools. They have all the accounts that are set up. And then from the taxable side, I like using Robinhood because it's, free commission trading. It's a great way to, if you want to kind of do some swing trades on the side and kind of do that, and also have some buy and hold positions as well. So I like using Robinhood for like the taxable accounts, and then maybe look for like a Fidelity for the Roths.
yeah, and then obviously we're not going to recommend any stocks, but are there any stocks that you get that you like? Just even one or two, just if people are overwhelmed, like anything that you would just put in there that you think is good, safe, maybe pays a little dividend, which is incredible.
Yeah, so AT&T for value and
I actually
dividend,
like
I think it's
AT&T.
one of the best at $28. And then the dividend yields around 7 plus.
That's really
Means,
good.
yeah, been around for over 100, probably close to 200 years. They do have a decent amount of debt because they've been, kind of expanding a little bit, but it's good and bad. With that debt comes some growth opportunities. They also have the potential with 5G rolling out soon. They recently just launched a new streaming service. Granted, streaming is very competitive right now, but just gives them a little added bonus. So it's called HBO Max because they actually do own Time Warner. So it's just a way. I think it was like, I actually made a video on that. It was kind of almost like required of them to do it in a way, because they already had all that content with Time Warner. So I believe maybe like what is Batman, whoever they
League.
own.
They're doing the
Yeah,
ultimate version. I'm a huge fan of Batman.
yeah.
Like, if I was a billionaire, I'd pump steroids and be Batman. Like, I love Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
So yeah, it was like the perfect way for them to distribute that content because everything's going streaming. So I think that was a good move on their part. And that's, I think, one of the most solid, stable stocks you can go from the value dividend side. And then now that we're, on like a sports card channel and everything, I've invested pretty decently into DraftKings when it had like a
Dude, nice.
reverse stock merger. So it was like a SPAC, and the SPACs are blowing up like crazy. I haven't been investing too much in SPACs, but this DraftKings, I'm a consumer of their product. I've loved daily fantasy, so I hopped on that, and that's been one of my best performers right now. And I think that one still has a lot of growth long term.
So, how do people find your channel for stocks and sports cards? Like, because I assume you give maybe some picks or advice every once in a while.
Oh yeah, so I'm over at Milone Money Mindset. That's my channel icon. You can find me over at.
Okay, sweet, man. Awesome. So, I just got like one more big question for you.
Mhm.
When it comes to sports cards and I guess more short term and long term, what is your approach right now? So I know there's so many sports. What do you do? What is your main approach for sports cards right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm trying to mesh a little bit of the short term and the long term. So I've been trying to position it with what's going to lead up potentially. Like with the baseball, I was looking to who's going to potentially make it to the World Series, and kind of similar with basketball, like who could have potentially gone deep in the playoffs. And then with football, it was more so like who's going to have a good year, because I pretty much thought it was a shoe in for Mahomes, and his car price was a little too expensive to really go after. So in the short term, it's mainly what's going to drive. Is it going to be performance, or is it going to be teams going deep in the playoffs? And then from a long-term standpoint, I've been trying to focus on guys that are more established, like a Peyton Manning, like one of my favorite players. So he's a guy who I think is really undervalued for what he is, and for him going to be in the Hall of Fame very soon. I think he'll be eligible in maybe 2 or 3 years or so, and I believe he's going to go into commentary, which is going to only provide some value for him. And he's just hysterical. I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch, and just like see him in interviews. I don't know if you've seen him do the one with Ron Burgundy for Will Ferrell. You have to watch. It's so funny. Like
I've seen the
So
SNL skit where he's playing football against the kids and he's like
that is
throwing the
where
ball
he's
and
just
hitting
pushing
them. I
them.
die. I love that. Yeah,
He's
I
so
love
funny,
comedy
yeah.
stuff.
So for long term, that's a guy I've been trying to invest in because his prices, yeah, they might go down, but I don't even care what his prices are doing in the short term because if the whole
Yeah.
market goes up, he has to go up with it, and he's still going to have his opportunity to get that spike when he gets elected to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, there's some names that are just obvious, like especially well, we're about the same age, mid-20s ish. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I know what you mean though. Like, there are names like him, Brady. There's like they're pretty much similar age, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you take into consideration of like when they played too, like Peyton Manning's a big time name, and he's not going to be talked about in the short term with Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
and all these players coming out. But when he gets inducted, him, Kobe, LeBron is just tearing it up. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand how people don't have any LeBrons. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Oh,
still
you want
picking
to
up.
see one?
I'm still picking up some of those 2003 City Heights, man.
This
I
was a
think they're
card I picked
undervalued.
up when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I'm gonna have to get this graded soon.
$8. I'll buy
LeBron.
it for $10. That's it. Hold it up again. Let's see it. What card is that?
I think
That's
it
an
says
upper
high
deck.
school upper deck. I think it's like
Oh,
in a PSA 10, it's like 115 or so. But it's just cool to have. I
hold
think
on
it would
to it.
probably grade a 10 because it's the corners are great. Centering looks nice. It hasn't been out of this in like 15, 20 years or so, whatever.
Yeah, definitely send that in when you can. So,
Yeah.
um, anyways, man, so happy to have you on. Again, give people another opportunity to find you. So, how can people find you online again?
Yeah, so on YouTube, Malone Money Mindset, and then I'm on other social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter. Probably similar variation of that, combination of Malone and money. I don't know exactly my handles over there because I couldn't get the whole title on there, but on YouTube it's over at Malone Money Mindset.
Yeah, I like it, man. So, anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Facebook group. You can post sports cards. It's at Red Cape Sports. So, again, we'll see you guys real soon.